Hey you guys, the Saint. I'm gonna make you guys a little tutorial of a little trick or a little technique you can use in FileMaker. There's been like 2 people on the forum asking for this question, so I'm gonna try and show you how I would usually do this. The idea is as follows. This is a very simple example file I just made, and the idea is that you have a client. For instance, in this case you have John Doe and you have his client information. In this case this is not a lot, but it's just a test file, and the idea here is that this person has several billings to his name, and each billing can have multiple, in this case, deposits. So what you have is a very simple layout with a normal portal that's pretty basic, but in here every record of this portal can have multiple records in a related table. So basically if you select this billing here, then it will show you a deposit of $100. If you select this billing here, see it becomes green, then it has a few other deposits. So this changes selecting a record from this portal. This is a portal with really big portal rows. There are only 4 portal rows here, and this one has just like more like a normal looking portal row. So we have 1, 2, 3 different tables, and they're all kind of connected on the same layout. Voila. Let's see how we do this, shall we? Let's make a new database. Put it somewhere in my Dropbox folder. Public. 2 portals. Let's see, I had one here. I'm gonna make it the same name. Just call it version 2. Boom. So we have our new file. Let's go to File, Manage Database. I have already gotten this little free table from FileMaker here, but I don't need it. I'm going to create a very simple clients table. I'm going to make a billing table, and I'm going to make a deposits table. I do not need this one, so I'll delete it. I will also remove occurrences of this table in the graph, and then I have 3 left, and I'm going to go to fields. For my clients, as always, in every single table I need an ID field, which is a number, which I double click to make a serial number. Okay, always do this. Now I'm gonna have a first name for my client, which is gonna be a text, and a last name for my client, which is also going to be a text. I'm going to make a full name field, which I always do, and you may have seen this in my other videos. If you haven't, I will explain it again real quick. I call this C_full name because it's going to be a calculation. I always call my calculations C_. I'm going to create this, and then I'm going to create it as a first name. I'm going to hit a space. I'm going to hit the ampersand, bracket, space, ampersand, space, last name. This might look a little funky, but it's actually quite simple. I'm going to have the first name, I'm going to have the last name, and I'm going to have a space in between them. So first name and space between brackets and last name. And it's not going to be a number because it's going to be a full name, so it's going to be text. Okay, I think I have all the fields I need here. Let's go to the billing table. As always, an ID. This becomes pretty boring after a while, but it's really something you need. Our ID is a number and is an auto-enter serial number. For fields, I need a client ID FK, which is a foreign key, and I made a typo. It's a foreign key which will store the client's ID from the client table we just made from the ID field. We're going to use this in a relationship later on. So for now, because these billings, a billing will be related to a client, of course, I'm going to add a few fields, like I'm going to add date, and there's going to be a date field. I will add total amount. I'm making lots of spelling mistakes here. Total amount is going to be a number, and I'm going to have mark as complete. There's going to be a text, and I'm going to have the amount remaining and that's going to be a number as well. I'm going to change this later on to become a calculation, but I can't do that yet because I haven't made a relationship yet. I will make that in a minute. Deposit, as always, I can't say this often enough, every single table needs a number field that is a serial number as an ID. Okay, then I'm going to, this deposits table is going to be related not to the client but to the billing, because every billing can have multiple deposits. So this is going to be related to the billing ID, foreign key, and it's going to be a number. What else do I need here? Creation date to know when this billing was created. And I'm going to make a deposit field to know how much we deposited. It's a number field, and I'm going to, because I can have multiple deposits, I'm going to create an s underscore sum deposit. I always use s underscore as the prefix for my summary fields, and I'm going to create, this is going to be the total of deposits. So if I have multiple deposits, then this one is going to calculate how much that total amount is. Now that I have this, first I have to make my relationships, of course. I have my clients are going to be related to my billing, and if I'm on a client layout, I want to be able to allow the creation of records in the billing table via this relationship. If I delete a client, then all his billings are no longer necessary, so I want to delete them as well. And then I'm going to create a relationship here, because this billing table should be related to the deposits. And I don't really need to go in here right now because I will not be creating them through this relationship. Okay, let's see what this gives already. Now that I've made the relationship, I can go back to my billing table here, and the amount remaining calculation can now be made. Basically what I'm going to be doing, and because this is a calculation, I'm going to call it like this, c underscore amount remaining. Let's change this. Okay, what's going to happen here is this is going to show the remaining amount. Okay, so you have a billing which is for a certain total amount, let's say $500, and then you have several deposits that you can make in order to reach that total amount. If you make a few payments, then there will be a certain amount already paid and a certain amount still remaining to be paid. So the amount remaining to be paid will be the total amount minus the sum of all the deposits made, which is this one. It's going to be a number. There, I think that's looking pretty good already. Let's click OK, and let's see what we've got. We arrive in this layout that we don't need, so let's go here into File, Manage Layouts. This was the one we got in the beginning from FileMaker, so we don't really need that one. Let's delete, I don't need it, and then I arrive automatically in my layout for my clients. Good, let's use that one for now, it's easiest. I am going to make this layout a little bit bigger, and I'm just going to add a portal right here. Poof, this is going to be my billing portal. It's going to allow the deletion of portal records, because if I enter a billing here and I don't need it, I want to delete it, and show the vertical scroll bar because I might have a lot of billings. I'm going to make those fields. I'm going to put a few fields on top of each other, so I don't need a lot of rows. I'll take 4. I'm going to add which fields: the date field, the total amount, the mark as complete, and the amount remaining. Yeah, I think that's all we need here. Now, FileMaker puts them like this, which is the normal way you would normally see them, and I'm going to show you a little trick. I'm going to double click this, and I'm going to select here alternate background fill. I'm going to click this, and I'm going to choose let's say this color. Let's see if this gives them. Alright, so now you can see the different rows. So normally speaking, FileMaker is going to put these fields like this, which you could do, but just for fun and for giggles, I'm going to put this one, make this one a bit bigger, so that I can put all my fields kind of on top of each other like this, somewhat plus or minus like this. I'm going to put this one a little lower, and then I'm going to select them all. I'm going to do some moving about like this, and I'm going to use this one to align them all a little bit. And now I'm going to move them over, cancel. I'm going to move them over a bit this way. I'm going to make them all a bit bigger, and I'm going to double click them all and create a label. Boom, then I have all the labels. Now, let's see if this works. First, this is a date field, and I always like to give my date fields a little drop down calendar. This is not doing anything yet because we haven't got any records yet, probably, so let's try that. We make a new record. The first name is going to be John, second name is going to be Doe, and you can see our calculation field here calculates our full name, which is nice. What I usually do is I usually don't show this here. I usually make this one a bit bigger. I put the text here, I hit Control M or cancel. If you want, you can do insert merge field, and I'm going to use from table clients the C full name. See, boom, the C full name field has been put here in between these little brackets, so that's a merge field. I'm going to click those two little A's here, and I'm going to make this font size. I'm going to select this one first. Create this make this a little bit bigger so that we can always see on the top which client we are working with. If we exit the layout, we see John Doe. If we make a new record and we call this one Jane Doe, boom, there she is. Alright, let's see if this works. Let's create a date. Today's date, show a total amount of 500. Still remaining 500 because no payments have been made yet. Mark as complete, not yet, but this is also not so very useful, so let's click this one. Let's make this a checkbox set. Let's make a new one, and let's call this one complete. Voila. Okay, looking good so far. I could mark this as complete, but it isn't complete yet. This looks a little small-ish. Let's make this a 14. See, it becomes a bit bigger. That's better. Okay, so far so good. One more little detail that I might like to add here is the ability to delete records. What I always do is I use this images, go down to the bottom. I've got this little cross that I like. It's a little PNG file with transparency, and I'm going to, just for fun, create a new script. Because I've got a few portals going on, I'm going to, normally speaking, I would just use a button setup and call this a delete portal row, which is here. But for this one, I'm going to add a little commit just to really delete and oops, let's not do this one. This one is delete portal row and commit. Just so if you delete something from the second portal we're going to make later, so that it really deletes and commits the record to immediately update the calculations that are going on here. So this one can go to button setup, and normally speaking it would suffice to just say delete portal row here, but now we're going to perform this script that does a delete portal row plus a commit record. And but I may be running ahead. There's now a little trick we're going to need to do in order to be able, oops, I can see that this one is not coming along because it's sticking just outside. That's not nice. It's sticking just outside of the portal. Oh, I don't like that. How FileMaker moves my fields as I am selecting them. So let's do this. Yeah. Everything is in there now. If I select my portal, move, nudge it up, it's going to go upwards. Okay, Control B to go to browse mode, and let's see. We've got our little, let's add another run, total amount of 150. See what, there we have a few deposits here. No, these are not deposits, these are billings or something like that. Let's add a little billing. Oof, that's nice. billing, like so. Make it a bit bigger. Okay, this is our first step. Very simple layout, very simple portal. This is pretty normal, pretty basic. Now the trick is, or the question is, how are we going to make it so that a second portal shows only the records related to this one? Let's go to File, Manage, Database, and let's check this out. Our layout is based on this table. And if we make a client, if we're on the record of one certain client, we will be able to see the billings of this one single client. Now, how do we make it so that we see on this layout the correct deposit? Very tricky, and the answer will be a table occurrence, which is a pretty tricky thing in FileMaker if you don't understand it, but it's actually quite simple. First, what we need to do is we need to somehow relate this one to this billing ID, but on this table, because our layout is based on this table. So what we need to do is we need to take this ID and somehow bring it to this table. And that's actually a very simple thing to do. Let's go and make a new field in our clients. Let's make a new field, selected billing. I just typed a space. I don't usually use spaces in my field name, so let's not do that. And let's make this a number. Okay, we're going to select a certain billing and set that billing ID in this field in our clients table. Let's create this. We have selected billing. Let's have a look here. So basically, this selected billing field will contain the ID of this billing, the billing we select, the billing record we select. This ID is going to go flooped in here. Okay, that's the first step. So how do we do this? Let's if we make a button inside here, then basically we can use this button to set this ID of this record over here. Let's add this field over here just so we can see what's going on. Let's add from the clients table, selected billing. Boom, here we go. So we need to make a button right here. Let's make it somewhat like this, and let's perform a script. We don't have one yet, so let's make one. Let's call select billing. And it doesn't need a lot of steps. It basically needs to set a field. It needs to set this field, the selected billing field, and it needs to set it with the value of this ID. So let's search here for set field. Then we're gonna have a target field is gonna be very simple. In the clients table, our selected billing, which one is going to be the calculated result. The result we're going to be setting is very simple as well. From the billing table, we're going to set the ID. So let's hit OK, set field, and let's just in case, I always like to add one, a commit record request. Let's perform this without dialog. It never really shows a dialog, but voila, then we are certain. Select billing, OK. This one now it is blinking because it wants me to enter text. Is select, boom, enter, voila. Let's try and see what this gives. Now if we're going to click this button, it's going to set the ID of this record in this field. Let's see if it works. Boom, yes. 1, 2, yes. All right, this is working really great. We want to add something cool because now we don't really know which one is selected. We see it here, but we don't see the ID here. So this is kind of annoying, and this one is going to go away afterwards anyway. So we want a little bit of a nicer way to see which record is selected here. So let's go to edit layout. Let's select, oops, I hate this. If I select a field that it moves, it's kind of annoying. I select all the fields here. I'm going to right click and say conditional formatting. I'm going to add a conditional formatting rule here with a formula, and that is going to be when the selected billing is equal to the billing ID, then I want my fill color to be this funky little green one. Let's see if this works already. Aha, this one is selected and it's green. This one is now selected. See, all right, my highlights are working already. I can clearly see which billing record has been selected by me. Now all I need to do is create a second portal and show the deposits. Now let's go back to File, Manage Layouts, and let's see. We need to use this one. This one needs to be related to this one. How do we do that? We make a table occurrence. Basically what you're seeing here are the tables. This is a table clients, this is a table billing, and this is the table deposits. If you go on this little arrow here on the top left corner, you can see the source table for this is deposits. The source table here is billing, and the source table here is clients. Now this is all pretty normal, but what you can do, and we're going to make it very clear by selecting the deposits here and giving it a color, a funky purplish. Oh no, that's not cute. Let's make it like this. Yeah, sure. What you can do is you can copy this. Okay, if you copy it, that's using these two little green plus signs here. If you copy a table, that's not really what you're doing. You're not really copying a table. That's why these things are not called tables. These are called table occurrences. This is an occurrence of a table. And if you go into this little arrow, it will say the source table is deposits. This one is called deposits too, so you might be thinking, hey, we created a new table. But if you go here, then you will see that the source table is still deposits. And if you go to tables here, you still only have 1, 2, 3 tables. But you have 1, 2, 3, 4 table occurrences. That's because you have 2 occurrences of one and the same table. If you put data in this one, you will just be putting that data in the deposits table. It all stays in the exact same table. You have not copied a table. You do not now all of a sudden have 2 deposits tables. You still have 1 deposits table. You just made multiple occurrences of this table. That means you can create a different kind of relationship using this table occurrence, and then you can later on make a portal, for instance, based on this table occurrence instead of this table occurrence. We need this one now because we need to have this selected billing related to this billing IDFK. This is exactly the same relationship as we have here. The ID of the billing record is related to this billing IDFK in the deposits table, but right now we are working from this layout, so we need to start from this layout. So this billing ID needs to be on this layout, and that's what we did with this set field button here. That puts this ID here, so now we can create a relationship here and use this one as the basis for our second portal, because this is now related to the table that we have our layout based on. Sounds complicated, but it really isn't. Let's double click this one and let's call this selected deposit. Because this one will show, no, it's like deposit is not the correct name. Selected billing, because we have selected a billing, and this is going to show the deposits of that selected billing. Okay, that's a good name. Now we will know what this is. I give this one a color so that you know this one is based on deposits. This one is based on deposits. They have the same color. They are based on the same table. If you want, you can give these some different colors too if you want. The clients can be bluish or something. Okay, this is good. Let's make our portal and see what happens. Very simple, a portal tool. Let's make something roughly the same size, and let's base this on not the deposits table but the new table occurrence that we have created. As you can see now, you have 2 options here. This one is also related to this table but in a different way than this one, but it's this one that we really need, the deposits selected billing. Let's allow the deletion of portal records, and let's show the vertical scroll bar. Sure, why not? This is looking good, but I've just remembered that I have forgotten something. We only need here the creation date and the deposit, and actually if we put them in the other order, then we might add a little trick here. Let's go back to File, Manage, Layouts. Whoops, I went wrong. I'm going to File, Manage, Database, but I never go through here. I always use the shortcuts, Control-Shift-D. Let's go to Fields. Let's go to the deposits and make this creation date. Let's change the options, and let's add as an auto enter option, let's add the creation date. so that the date gets put in there automatically. That way I don't have to do it manually all the time. Alright, let's see, what else was I thinking of? I was thinking of something else. Oh yes, we're gonna get there in a second. First of all, I'm gonna use the text tool here to create deposit. Oof, I've made another deposit, made another mistake. Okay, something like this, deposit, and then we're going to create, we're going to hit control and drag here, and then align this label again, and then we're going to make this creation date. Okay, our creation date can be a drop-down calendar that includes the icon to show and hide the calendar. Let's see what gives. Absolutely nothing at all. That's because we forgot this one little setting at file manage database relationships here. We need to be able to create records in this table occurrence through this relationship. So let's double click this one, let's allow the creation of records, and let's delete related records in this table when a record is deleted in another table. Let's do that. Okay. Let's select stuff here. Alright, we can add deposits. Let's say this one was a total amount of 500. Let's say that I pay 100. Boom. And if I enter, it already automatically enters the date of today. If I want, I can always still change that, but that doesn't really matter for me right now. And as you can see here now in this billing, which had a total amount of 500, I paid 100, and now the amount remaining is 400. Let's add a little something here that we're missing. We cannot remove anything here, so let's make this one a little bit wider. And let's copy this one, or control drag it over here, and then we're gonna put it like so, and then we're gonna try something out. Let's add a deposit of 10 and a deposit of 10 again. As you can see, this is now 380. If we delete this one, you want to delete? Yes. Haha, the 380 becomes a 390. And as you can see, if you can add and delete deposits. Now if we select this one, all the deposits are gone, because now we're looking at the deposits for this billing here. So if you can see, we can do this, we can do this one. This was one of 150. Let's add a deposit of 50, and our amount remaining here is 100. Now if you go back and forth, you can see that I think we have kind of arrived at what we wanted to make. A layout for a client. A client can have multiple billings, and every single billing can have multiple deposits. Looks kind of nice. It's a simple little technique and can be handy sometimes if you have kind of like 3 levels of data that you want to relate to each other. I hope this was helpful. Goodbye.